Hello little heartbirds, it's Narissa here from twoheartbirds.com, the internet's most delicious and exciting and passionate daily wedding video blog ever. Today I am going to talk to you about the duty of care for your guests. Now the reason I bring this up is because the Dragon Slayer and I went for a walk on the weekend and we stumbled across a wedding. Now, like little sticky beaks, Mrs. Mangle style, I watched the wedding unfold, and it was a lovely affair, except for the fact that one of the guests fainted. Now, we can only put this down to heat exhaustion or some sort of sunstroke or dehydration or something like that, because when she came to, she was very hot and bothered and in a bit of sorts. Now, the reason we think this has happened is because the ceremony was held on a balcony in the middle of the day on quite a hot day. Well, I wouldn't say it was hot, but it was quite warm. The sun was beating down, there was no shade whatsoever, and she was obviously quite sensitive to that and she fainted. Now, there are ways that you can sort of limit those sort of things happening or prevent them altogether, and one of the biggest ways to do it is having water available. If you don't have shade available and there's no wind, having water available is the biggest thing that you can do. So whether that be in glasses or in little bottles of water, just to have them available for your guests who have probably been standing in the sun for, well, probably at least 10 minutes before you arrive, maybe even longer. And if you're late, it might even be longer than that. And if the ceremony goes for a long time, being out in the heat without water, without shade, can take its toll on some people, especially if they're sick or they're pregnant or they're elderly, or even if they're quite sensitive to heat. So one way that you can really take care, have high duty of care of your guests, is to have water available on a hot day. And just while we're on hot days we kind of think of hot days as 40-degree heat, sun blaring down, but hot days can also be those in the mid sort of 20s range, where people are coming just out of winter and they're not expecting the heat, and blaring down on you can sometimes take its toll. So don't just think that these things can happen, these things only happen in summer, because we're in spring here in Australia and it happened there right before my very eyes. So little heartbirds, here is the question of the day. What steps have you taken in your wedding to make sure there's high duty of care for your guests? I'll talk to you again soon.